Hey guys, for those that don't know me, my name's Gareth and this is my very first video of doing something like this. I'm in lockdown. I've had a few days to think about a few things, and I thought what better way than to try and give some information out to sailors and coaches and parents as well when I've got some of those resources together. But today I'm just going to have a really quick look and just try and really simplify this statement here, or this question here. So how does a boat go forward, or how a boat goes forward? Okay, now I'm going to try and do this in the most simplified way to keep these videos short. I might have to add on other videos to just extend on the ideas and the principles, but the basic understanding will certainly get you somewhere pretty fast. So first of all, we have a boat. Okay, it's pretty straightforward, it's pretty self-explanatory. Got a mast, and we've got this thing in the air called a sail, which is a flexible wing or a flexible foil. Okay, now the dotted line sort of represents the boom to a certain extent, but also what we call the chord length or chord line from the mast to the leach of the sail. Okay. Now, we're sailing, this is assuming we're sailing upwind. We're sailing in an upwind mode. We've got wind coming in at sort of around about a 45-degree angle, okay, and it reaches the front of our mast. Now, it's got to go around this camber, around this sail, around this wing, all right, and this wind has a certain pressure when it hits your mast, okay. Now, it's got to go either side, okay. The pressure, the air that's going around the leeward side of the sail gets accelerated, okay. The reason it gets accelerated, it's got a little bit further distance to travel, but it's what happens is with the air just traveling around that curve, air gets accelerated, which actually decreases the pressure, okay. So if you think of an equation, you've got sort of pressure and velocity, okay? It's got to equal the pressure and the velocity of the other side, okay? Now, or equals a constant, I should say, okay? So if the velocity of this air increases, okay, that one goes up, the pressure has got to go down, all right? That means that on the leeward side of the sail, you actually have a low pressure, and on the windward side you've got a high pressure, okay. Now if you spread those pressures out across the camber of the sail, all right, bear in mind that these two want to be the same. So the low pressure is sucking, it wants more of the high, it wants to be equal, all right. It wants to be equal like it was at the start, but also the pressure is going to be equal at the back, all right. So in order to do this, essentially we get a big sucking motion on the leeward side of the sail, okay, that holds the sail into shape for one, but also pulls the boat in that direction. If you added all these up together, your main direction, I'm going to draw this one in the big blue, okay, your main force is in that direction, okay, and that's going to pull the boat forwards in that direction. I'm just going to really quickly show you how that works on a chair by tying a rope to it, okay. So here's the chair. We've got the front of the boat is the top of the chair here, and the blue arrow where the low pressure on the sail is represented by this blue strap. So if I pull that in the direction like we had on the board, okay, it comes through and pulls the boat over to leeward. Cool, so you've seen the chair move, but it's actually moving off to one side. It's actually slipping to leeward, all right. What stops that though are our two foils, our two wings that are actually underneath the water, and also the hull. Okay, so anything that's in contact with the water or underneath the water will help stop the sideways motion, but also helps even more going forwards. So you've got your centerboard, you've got your rudder, and you've got effects of the hull as well. But for this case, we're just going to worry about the foils. All right. So with the boat being dragged off to that side, we end up with the water flow underneath, actually accelerating over the windward side of the foil. That in turn, okay, creates the low pressure on this side of the centerboard and high pressure on the leeward side, and exactly the same with the rudder. If we did exactly the same thing and drew these arrows out, okay, and what happens is the pressure here wants to be equal to the same pressure here. Okay, that's exactly what the low pressure is doing. It's trying to suck more of the high. Okay, and do the same on the rudder. Okay, and you get an overall direction pulling it like that. Okay, now let's go back to the chair and attach another piece of rope that pulls in this direction as well as that direction, and let's see what happens. So here we're back to the chair. We've still got our blue strap representing the blue arrow. We've now come back, we've got an orange strap added to it, which is our red arrow. Alright, so this is the low pressure sucking from the sails, this is the low pressure sucking from the foils. Now, it's going to look like I'm just pulling the chair forwards, so this is a really good opportunity for you guys to find something, attach two bits of rope to it, grab your mum, your dad, your brother, your sister, whoever it might be, your dog, to pull one strap in the direction of one arrow, and then you can pull the strap in the direction of the other arrow. Okay, so if we say we didn't have the sail, all right, we just had the foils for whatever reason, the chair moves off to windward. Okay, if we apply now both the sail and the foils together, and as hard as it looks, I am actually pulling in the direction of the straps, so they're pulling slightly forwards, and the chair comes forwards, which is the same which is exactly how the boat goes forwards. Cool. So as you can see, now that we've got a force in both those directions, the boat goes forwards. Really straightforward. Now that's the most simplest way of explaining how the boat goes forwards. There's so much more to it. You can change the camber of the sail, and you can bring the draft here. You can bring the draft forward, or you can bring the draft back, and all have their advantages and disadvantages for different conditions, and that we can cover at a later date. But if you can just understand the principle of the high and the low pressures, and actually the boat is being sucked forwards, the wind isn't pushing the boat. The wind is actually being accelerated and the boat is being sucked forwards. And if these two are nice and equal, you actually go forwards this direction real fast. Cool, that's my first short video. Hopefully it makes some sense. If you guys got any questions, please sing out. Let me know, flick me a message, comment below, do whatever you like, and let me know also what you want to hear about. Okay, this is my, like I say, first video. I want to provide something for you guys, whether you're a coach, sailor, parent, whatever it is, sing out, let me know, and I'll try and do a video on it for you, and go from there. Cool, have a good one.